Subscribe or bear the hatred of the Uchiha. Wake up to reality.
What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Sho, back with another video, and today talking about Code Geass. Now I think it's weird, right? I never made a video on Code Geass, which is interesting because it's one of my top anime of all time, and I'm just now realizing a lot of people have not seen it, or it's getting to the point where it's just kind of getting lost in a lot of sea of anime, you know, being out. But this one, you definitely guys should definitely pick this one up. Like I said, it's unbelievable I haven't made a video about this because it is one of my favorites. It's the definition of like strategy storytelling. Like everybody pretty much knows about Death Note, right? Like even if you haven't seen Code Geass, you've heard about Death Note maybe. And yes, I think these are very similar anime in the sense that like the main character is smart and kind of a villain, depending on how you look at it, right? Like Light was a villain to people, like everybody, you know, he was a mass murderer. He started off murdering people that were criminals or whatever. And depending on where you land on that side of the coin, you know what I'm saying, he could have been a hero for you or a villain. Lelouch, however, has his own motives for wanting to see Britannia fall, and it necessarily isn't that he wants the Japan forces to really win. He just wants Britannia to fall. So yeah, he's doing the right thing, but kind of for the wrong reasons. Now let's talk about more Code Geass, more Lelouch. Now Lelouch v Britannia. I know I said it wrong, but Lelouch stands at the center of it all. He's a tragic genius who basically uses this whole war as a war of his own ideas. Now, there comes a part in these videos where I gotta tell you guys the synopsis, because a lot of times I'll be explaining these anime and I just kind of really get going and get into them and don't really give you guys anything that deals with what the anime is actually about. Now, Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, yes, it's that title, follows the exiled prince Lelouch v Britannia, who gains the power of Geass. This Geass power allows him to command anyone to obey his order once. He dons the mask of Zero. Basically, he becomes like a vigilante because he is a well-known prince in the country he's trying to destroy. So he becomes Zero. He launches a rebellion against the Holy Britannian Empire. Yes, it's called that. And ultimately, it's to create a better world for his sister, right? Like he definitely has good intentions at heart, but as power and ideology crash into each other, Lelouch's big revolution is a tragedy, explosion, you know, a deception, murder, everything, all culminating to one of anime's most unforgettable, unforgettable, entertaining endings. Now I kind of juice it up a little bit. No, it's a really great ending. I know a lot of animes don't necessarily end well, right? And that's like a big selling point of Code Geass. Like Code Geass is pretty much known as the anime that has just ended well, right? We won't get into that today, but just know if you do watch it, it is totally worth it. Both seasons are great and it has a great ending, so it's like the full package pretty much. S plus show. Now speaking more about Lelouch. Now Lelouch is one of the most fantastic, fascinating, complex characters of all time in any anime, because he's like a genius tactician, but that's not his only plus. As far as his character goes, he's a tragic symbol that shows that even though you could have the purest intentions, the things and the lengths that you'd be willing to go to achieve your goals could be crazy, right? Like before we even got to stuff like Eren and all the hard choices and stuff that he had to make for his people, you got Lelouch, right? Who technically hates his people in a sense, right? Well, he hates the royals. So basically, as I said before, Lelouch is a prince. I won't really get into why he hates his country, but basically the world, in that world, to give you guys a little bit more synopsis, Japan is basically, I guess the word for it is enslaved, right? Like they're treated, Japanese citizens are treated as less than, right? Like you basically, it was a war the Britannian Empire won over, and then now they're kind of ruling over the Japan citizens. So basically right now, like Lelouch is fighting for the resistance, basically fighting for the people of Japan, the Japanese people. But Lelouch is actually Britannian, and not only is he Britannian, he is the prince, or at least one of the princes, because he has like brothers and sisters, but he is one of the princes of the entire empire. This is why he uses the persona Zero, right? So he always hides behind the mask, so you can't really see his face. Basically, he used his knowledge and his strategy to kind of knock down and take down the Britannian Empire because he knows a lot about it. What makes him so unforgettable though It's how layered his morality is. He's not really your typical hero fighting for justice, nor is he a villain that's just pure ambition. He's a revolutionary, but he's a revolutionary for specific purposes. He might not have the same reason that the Japanese people are fighting for. Like right now, he sees the injustice that's being done, right? And he's fighting on that side, and it does impact his decisions, right? Like he definitely wants them to win, but it's not only motivated by freedom for the Japanese. It's a lot of different factors. He mainly wants the Britannian government to fall for his own reasons. One thing that's cool about him though is he is a person that is an anime character that knows that sacrifice is necessary to achieve your goals. Like not everybody's gonna get out safely. Like even if he has to become the very monster that he wants to destroy, he will do that to make sure that he wins. Now let's talk about the other half of Lelouch. Let's talk about Suzaku Kurougi. Now he is one of the characters whose very existence challenges the ideal of what it means to be a good guy. While Lelouch represents rebellion through calculated defiance, like he defies the Britannian government. He is a rebel in every sense of the word. Suzaku is an interesting character because Suzaku embodies the struggle of trying to reform a broken world from within the broken world. Like he basically is a part of the Britannian government. Him and Lelouch are basically polar opposites in a sense, right? They're not, because throughout all the mask and the knighthood, they both want the same thing. They want the freedom for the Japanese. They want the Japanese to be treated better. But Suzaku goes about it by basically becoming Britannia's number one knight, number one soldier, number one weapon, right? So Lelouch is the head of the rebel faction, who he is a Britannian prince who leads the Japanese rebels. Suzaku is a Japanese resident who is an honorary Britannian, and he basically becomes one of their most important and powerful weapons. Like he is basically trying to get high enough status that he can make a change from within the messed up system. He doesn't want war, right? Lelouch knows that war is inevitable if they're going to free the people. Whereas Suzaku is more about not necessarily freeing the people, but just to making the people see that the system could work. He can change it from the inside. Lelouch uses deception and strategy. Suzaku clings to his ideas strongly. He believes that justice can exist within the very empire that destroyed his home and family. And that contradiction basically defines Suzaku as a character. They're basically like the core makeup of Code Geass. These two fighting constantly against each other. And get this, they're actually best friends. It's just that for a while, they don't really know that each one is on an opposing side. And now let's talk about C2. Now C2 is a very interesting character too, because while Lelouch and Suzaku are basically polar opposites of each other, right? They are two sides of the same coin. Well, she's hard to talk about because, you know, with me trying to get people to watch the anime and just kind of reminisce about the anime, I don't want to spoil too much. And C2 is a big part of the plot, to be honest. Let's just say C2 adds the supernatural aspect into the political war that Code Geass is. Like, obviously, I've already explained the conflict between the Japanese people and the Britannian Empire. Well, with C2, it is like the third plot of the show, right? Really second big plot, if you want to be honest. She is the reason why Lelouch gets this mystical power, right? Now, Lelouch is smart. He's a genius, but he can't do it alone. You know, he relies on a power known as Geass. Now, his specific Geass, right? Because there's different Geass with multiple powers. His specific Geass is that he is allowed to control people once. He can mind control a person once. Once he does it on them, it does not work again. But if he does it, it continues to work constantly, right? C2 is basically the reason he gets this power. And C2 is kind of like Lelouch's partner in a sense, but she has her own goal and her own motives. You kind of see her guide Lelouch, and towards the end of the series, you see a lot about the power of Geass and what that means to the grander overall story in the world. Now, with that being said, we talk about basically the top trio. If you have not watched Code Geass, I suggest that you do go watch it. It's such a great show. Such a thrilling, mecha, action-y, strategy show that I don't think there's not a single person that I know that doesn't like this show. But with that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.
てた